In a stunning breach of royal protocol, Israeli-American Air Force hero Israel Izzy Del Toro conspicuously omitted any mention of Britain's Prince Harry during his keynote address at the 502nd Air Force Ball. The glaring snub towards the Duke of Sussex raised shockwaves throughout the lavish San Antonio Gala, especially given Del Toro's reputation for inspirational speeches honoring military brethren overcoming adversity. As the first-ever 100% disabled Air Force veteran promoted to Master Sergeant, Del Toro's mere presence commanded immense respect among the hundreds of airmen gathered at the event. However, when he ascended to the ornate Aztec Theater stage to deliver his titular remarks, not a single syllable referenced Prince Harry's decade of military service or his various charitable endeavors supporting wounded warriors. For over 30 riveting minutes, Del Toro wove his signature tales of resilience, detailing how he miraculously survived an IED blast attack while deployed in Afghanistan, ultimately losing both legs, yet heroically relearned to walk through intense recovery efforts. His rousing narrative highlighted overcoming PTSD demons while crediting therapies like boxing for restoring his sense of purpose and identity. However, the keynote speaker never once acknowledged Harry's famously parallel journey confronting similar battleground traumas amidst transitioning from elite Apache helicopter duties, which many expected as preface, linking their shared brotherhood in arms. Instead, Del Toro exclusively focused on introducing the newly launched Del Toro Foundation supporting other catastrophically disabled veterans through adaptive sports rehabilitation programs. And he specifically cited examples across various U.S. military branches without uttering a single phrase about the British Royals' longtime patronage of the Invictus Games or related humanitarian initiatives. We're all riding that turbulent plane of reintegration faced by anyone leaving the service, temporarily unable navigating stormy headwinds of adjustment, Del Toro proclaimed during an impassioned climatic crescendo summarizing his rallying call to action. But make no mistake, airmen, those dark clouds always part eventually, if you just hold true, keeping that injection light alive. The sweeping ovation Del Toro received nearly shook the historic theater's foundations as audience members leapt up cheering, though audible murmurs reverberated between tables occupied by the ball's British delegation and Harry's inner circle perplexed over the complete omission. When the gala resumed following Del Toro's speech, tangible tensions appeared emerging between American airmen hosting the festivities and their Commonwealth counterparts. UK liaison officers looked visibly uncomfortable as lively sidebars speculated whether the snub stemmed from still-simmering stateside resentments towards British forces abandoning Helmand province to the Taliban back in 2014. For his part, Harry remained outwardly gracious while mingling during the post-speech reception, even briefly embracing Del Toro and thanking him for the inspirational words, if noticeably more rigid than his usual affable demeanor. However, once the Duke exited, citing feeling slightly knackered, under the guise of preparing for upcoming Invictus hosting duties, whispers crescendoed into an all-out barn burner among remaining attendees debating potential catalysts for Del Toro's perceived slight. A diss that brazen cuts far deeper than just failing acknowledging his show pony charity and ribbons. It brings the whole bloody crown into disrepute. Over a millennium's worth of martial allegiances seemingly desecrated on stage tonight, fumed Regimental Sergeant Dale Pierce, an aging Coldstream Guards veteran among the UK contingent. Del Toro might be a fellow soldier I admire beyond words, but to so flippantly neglect even perfunctory thanks and recognition towards a royal patron currently reshaping the paradigms around veterans' issues globally? It leaves wondering whether he crossed into realms of old-world sedition we've simply no tolerance entertaining. Pierce's indignant sentiments echoed across social media platforms online, where British officers from Prince Harry's former cavalry regiments shared similarly aghast reactions condemning Del Toro's insulting optics. However, others among the ball's American hosts countered that Del Toro's omission could reflect genuine reticence stemming from generational and cultural gaps separating nobility-rooted service traditions versus the U.S. military's more egalitarian modern ethos. Especially given Del Toro's Mexican-American heritage, these skeptics wondered if his perceived blindsiding might evince principled aversions towards aristocrats enjoying privileges from birth, regardless of philanthropic deeds or personal battlefield merits. Hand to God, "I'm about the biggest Izzy Stano alive and will defend that man's character to the death," asserted Lieutenant Regina Walczak, a young Cobra helicopter gunner who idolizes Del Toro's resilience. But you can't rule out reticence showing deference toward any hereditary royals just because as a concept. It's a huge culture gap for immigrant kids like us transcending the Lord, worship grandparents faced back in the old world. Walczak speculated Del Toro possibly recoiled at the prospect giving undue esteem to a British prince through formal recognition, perhaps sensing subconscious discomfort himself perpetuating vestigial colonial power dynamics. Such compunctions could reasonably extend even towards admired military figures like Harry, who directly benefited from birthrights and aristocratic pedigree systems, fundamentally anathema to core American democratic identity. Let's just hypothetically say ol' Izzy did dubiously judge Harry unfairly through some latent anti-monarchist lens? Well, no way that perspective derives from ignorance over the Duke's real-life combat experiences and struggles, reasoned Walczak while exhaling smoke rings from her vape pen outside the ball venue. More likely it symbolizes him taking principled ownership, wrestling with complicated generational hang-ups over nobility rather than indiscriminately venerating anyone born into legacies still polluted by imperial conquest and subjugation globally. Those mental pretzels are ones immigrant kids often find ourselves tangled over. Others attributed Del Toro's perceived snub towards more personal misgivings directed squarely at Prince Harry himself in retaliatory protest. Rumor mills churned speculation alleging Del Toro, a steadfastly patriotic American veteran who experienced the costs of Afghanistan deployments firsthand, took veiled offense towards Harry's recent capitalization of truth bomb, media tours appearing to renege on sworn duties. In the days preceding the Air Force Ball, promotional clips surfaced on Netflix from Harry's forthcoming documentary series, Heart of Invictus, capturing him offering candid misgivings over having followed British command into Helmand Province. The Duke described suppressed youthful angst suffering casualties in what he now considers an unjustified military quagmire, without any willful strategy for achieving peace forced by imperialistic holdover thinking. According to certain gala attendees, such statements struck particularly raw nerves with Del Toro, who nearly died advancing into Helmand alongside British counterparts on tours earlier portrayed through more valorous optics by Harry and the Palace.